Okay, so we're talking about Descartes. We're talking about him trying to fuse science with the bigger philosophical questions in order to address the problem of nihilism, or the idea that nothing means anything. The very conclusion that seems to be that a rational person would seemingly draw from the success of modern science and technology, which assumes a valueless, purposeless world, a world devoid of teleology and is just mechanistic, blind mechanistic matter in motion. Okay. But Descartes also is interested in method. Remember, we said he's interested in epistemology, how we know things. And he thinks a problem philosophy got into was that it didn't take seriously epistemology. It needed to actually have a more rigorous epistemology. It needed to have a more rigorous definition in particular of certainty. And what Descartes is interested in is figuring out a method for philosophy so he can arrive at an absolutely certain principle. What does certain mean? Undoubtable. Indubitable, undoubtable. Descartes saying, well, let's go back over the history of philosophy, and we'll see all the problems arose from accepting things as true, which were doubtable. So he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to throw everything out. I'm going to blow up the whole history of philosophy. I'm locking myself in a cabin, and I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting, and I'm going to look for an absolutely certain principle, something I can hang my hat on. I can hang the history of philosophy on. I can understand science on. I can hang everything on. He calls it, or it's referred to sometimes as the Archimedean point, because Archimedes was looking for the right spot so he could find on the earth to move the earth. In the same way, Descartes is trying to find a firm foundation to ground all knowledge, science, metaphysics, etc. And the way he does this is by methodological doubt. Okay, and this methodological doubt leads Descartes to the one principle, philosophy is filled with a lot of different ideas, but there's one idea in philosophy that we know for sure, and it's Descartes' cogito ergo sum. There's one thing that philosophers have figured out in, 2,500 years, and it's Descartes' cogito. No one really denies this, because once you hear it, you'll go, oh, okay, this is the one thing we're sure of in philosophy. People often criticize philosophers for not having answers to any things. Well, one thing we do know, and it's cogito ergo sum, and we'll talk about that in the next video.